Hi everybody, I'm Chef Jennifer Basil, and on today's show, we're gonna do some one-pot dishes, but to add a little bit of protein, we're gonna grill some chicken first. It is a windy day here in Texas, but I promise it's not a tornado. It's nice and warm out, even though it's early in spring. I think it's time to start grilling because I love to cook outdoors. We're gonna do some chicken to add to our recipes we're gonna cook today. For our first recipe today, we're going to make gnocchi. And this is similar to a pasta dough. We are going to rice some potato, add flour and egg, and bring that together to make a dough to make our gnocchi. So the first thing we had to do is bake some potatoes. I went ahead and did that already. I did not rub this with oil or season it with salt. We just did it dry. And then you're gonna wanna obviously peel the potato because we only want the fluffy inside. And we're gonna rice it. If you do not own one of these, you should get one. It's called a potato ricer, and we're gonna press the potatoes through this, and it's gonna create a really fluffy texture. And by the way, this is the best way to make mashed potatoes too. So just take your potatoes, fill it in the ricer, and then press down. Look at that, perfect fluffiness. And you wanna just keep doing that. You want about 2 pounds of potatoes, so I'm actually going to do what's already peeled and maybe half more of this potato, but we'll get that all riced, and then we will add the flour, egg, and salt, and bring that dough together. Okay, I've got the potatoes riced, and just like pasta, we're gonna make a well. We're gonna add flour, our egg in the center. I'm doing it in a mixing bowl. You could do it on a flat surface just like you would a pasta dough. I'm gonna add in a little salt too. And then you want to bring in the mixture into the egg. And once you kind of have that incorporated, then you can kind of use your hands to bring it all together. And once it's all together, we're gonna roll it out and cut our gnocchi. And then to cook it, we're gonna add it to some salted boiling water. And we're gonna make a luscious cheese sauce to put it in. Take half the dough. We're gonna roll this out into a long, skinny cylinder. So depending on how large your work surface is, I might have to actually cut this in half again. Let's do that because I need the length of the cutting board. Just kind of roll it out. And you can add a little flour to the surface if you need it. Okay, and then from here, I'm gonna cut it into little pieces, and I'll show you how to roll it on the board to get those ridges in the shape of a gnocchi. Okay, we've got our gnocchi dough in our little rolls. Now we're just gonna cut it into bite-sized pieces. And then you could actually just leave it like this and cook it. It would be perfectly fine. But if you want to make the gnocchi look like the way Italians do it, I have this board. And what you would do is you would just, with your thumb, roll the gnocchi down it, and you get those nice ridges on it. Actually, I'm gonna do it this way since I'm facing the camera, or facing you guys at home. And you can kind of see we're getting those ridges. But if I was doing it for myself, I would use my thumb. And you see you kind of get a nice little ridge and a little dent to shape our gnocchi. Once we have them all shaped, we're gonna put them in boiling water. You're gonna cook them till they float, and then we're gonna make a cheese sauce. We'll toss them all together. So think of like a gnocchi mac and cheese. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so good. And then we'll add our grilled chicken to it. Okay, before we actually cook the gnocchi. I want to get the sauce ready because if we put the gnocchi in and it overcooks, it's going to get gummy and sticky and it won't be light and fluffy. So let's hold off on that and get our pan sauce ready. I am going to add just a little bit of butter to start, not too much. We're going to put in some pancetta, which is a cured pork product, but this fat on the pancetta is going to render down. So that's why I don't want to add too much butter or oil, because we're going to get the fat from the pancetta already. So we'll put that in and let that kind of crisp up a little bit. And for this cheese sauce, we're doing pancetta. We're gonna add some sage. And you can either chop the sage, or if you wanted to just tear the leaves and kind of make it a rough, like loose cut in your sauce, you could do it that way. I'm gonna actually chop ours. So while that's rendering, let me get that done. Give myself some space here. Oh my gosh, I wish you could smell this. Fresh herbs are just so wonderful. We don't necessarily want this to get bacony crispy. We could if you wanted that texture. I just want to get some of that fat rendered down. You can see it kind of getting translucent. So rendering means to cook the fat down and out of it. Now to make our sauce, I've got cream, butter, Parmesan, a little bit of garlic powder. That we'll use to finish off the dish when we plate it. So let's add our butter. And at this point, I'm gonna turn the heat down just a little bit because I don't want that butter to burn. We could kind of let this cook a little bit longer and that butter would turn brown. I'm sure you've heard of a brown butter sauce. And if we were just doing a brown butter sauce, I would say absolutely do that. But because we're making a cream sauce, we kind of want to keep the butter light. So we've got our butter. Let's add our Parmesan. Let's add our garlic powder. And then let's add our cream. This is going to be so decadent. And we'll kind of bring that all together. And we'll add the sage to finish. And then we'll get the gnocchi in the boiling water. And when it's ready, we will toss it in. Our sauce, look at how beautifully and creamy that came together. That's ready. Our gnocchi's floating, which means our gnocchi's ready. So straight out of the pasta water into that beautiful cream cheese sauce. And we'll just toss that lightly. Oh my gosh, my mouth is watering. And it smells so good with the pancetta and the sage. Now, one pot, one dish. You could just eat it as is, but I feel like to make it really a meal, we're gonna add the grilled chicken that we did earlier. So essentially what we've created here is a wonderful lunch or dinner, one pot, gnocchi, really like gnocchi mac and cheese with this beautiful Parmesan sauce, the pancetta, the sage. We'll garnish it with a little more Parmesan. You can put a couple sage leaves on to make it beautiful. And that's a full meal.